As the 2024 NFL playoffs chug along, we have now reached the Final Four. In less than a week, we will know the two teams who will be battling it out for Super Bowl licks, or Super Bowl 59. In order to reach this point, we had to complete the divisional round this past weekend, a pivotal point for any NFL team on their journey to the game's biggest stage. Over the years, including this one, there have been some excellent matchups in these rounds, and we're here to shine the spotlight on that today as we count down the 10 best divisional round matchups in NFL history. And we will be doing this, as we always do, by using C-Score, a metric created by this channel to evaluate each and every NFL team during the Super Bowl era. For a more detailed explanation of C-Score, be sure to check out the description of this video. The idea here is simple. We take the C-scores of the individual teams within a matchup and add them up. The higher that total, the higher that matchup will rank. As was the case with our video about the wildcard round, matchups in this season's divisional round may yet find their way onto this list, as the advancing teams all have an opportunity to increase their C-scores, subsequently increasing the C-scores of their matchups. Before we begin, we do want to acknowledge a game from the 1968 AFL between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. These teams tied for the AFC Western Division title, and with no tiebreakers in place, those two teams played an unscheduled tiebreaker game that could be construed as a divisional round playoff game. But given all these circumstances, we will not be counting that game as such. But had we done so, this combined C-score of 67.04 would have qualified at the top of this list. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's time to get this thing started. We're going to begin at number 10. This is going to take us to the 1992 NFC divisional matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles were in the wildcard round. They won and moved on here. They were excellent during the season with an 11-5 record, being 5th in scoring and 6th in points allowed. It was the Cowboys, however, at 13-3 that won the NFC East over the Eagles, earning a bye into this game. They outscored their opponents by 166 points, finishing 2nd in scoring and 5th in points allowed. Philly's C-score of nearly 22, added up with Dallas's C-score of nearly 38, gives us a total score of 59.74. As good as Philly was, Dallas had no problem handling their division rival, winning this game 34-10. And 3 seasons after being the league's worst team, they went on to win Super Bowl 27, kicking off their dynasty. We're going to go back in time for our number 9 entry to the 1975 season, the first season where the NFL used playoff seeding. This divisional round matchup is between the Baltimore Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Colts won the AFC East with a 10-4 record after starting the season 1-4. That after going 2-12 the season before. Quite a miracle turnaround for them. They earned the 3rd seed. The number 1 seed belongs to the Steelers, AFC Central and defending Super Bowl champions, with their 12-2 record and stellar plus 211 point differential. Now the reason this is a 1 versus 3 matchup instead of 1 versus 4 is that before 1990, the NFL did not allow 2 teams from the same division to play in the ironically named divisional round. Because the Cincinnati Bengals are from the Central and won the wild card this season, this is the matchup we got. The Colts C-score is pushing 21, the Steelers pushing 40, giving us a grand total of 60.626. The Colts certainly had their miracle turnaround, but it came crashing down in this one, losing to Pittsburgh 28-10. The Steelers went on to the Super Bowl for the 2nd straight season, and won the championship for the 2nd straight season. We're ready to go back in time a little again for our number 8 entry. This is actually the final season before the NFL-AFL merger. We're heading to 1969 and the NFL divisional round matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams won the Coastal Division going 11-3, while the Vikings won the Central Division going 12-2 with an unbelievable plus 246 point differential. They led the league in scoring and in points allowed. With a rotation-based home field advantage in place, the Vikings did get home field for this game. Their C-score was over 43, the Rams cleared 18, giving us a total of 61.231. Despite having to go outdoors to play the Vikings in Minnesota, the Rams did put up a fight before ultimately falling 23-20. The Vikings then won the NFL championship and made it to Super Bowl IV, where they were upset by the Kansas City Chiefs. For the third consecutive entry, we're going to go back in time again, this time just a couple of years. Number 7 brings us to 1967 and the NFL matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers. The Rams were once again Coastal Division champions with an 11-1-2 record, leading the league in scoring and in points allowed. The Green Bay Packers are champions of the Central Division. They're also reigning Super Bowl champions and reigning 2-time NFL champions. But their record wasn't as stellar as it has been in the past, going 9-4-1. However, they benefited from this rotational system by getting to host this game. Their C-score is at 29.4, the Rams hover at 32.5, very even matchup here. The total C-score is 61.957. And without that playoff seeding in place, the Packers took advantage and were able to handle the Rams fairly easily by a score of 28-7. They won the famous Ice Bowl over the Dallas Cowboys the following week, leaving Super Bowl II against the Oakland Raiders a mere formality. They won that game, winning their second straight Super Bowl and their third straight NFL title. To this date, that has not yet been duplicated. Alright, we're going to actually move back forward in time here for our number 6 entry. This is the 1985 season. The NFC Divisional Round matchup here is between the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants. The Giants went 10-6, finishing second in their division, winning their wildcard game to get to this point. The 85 Bears are simply the 85 Bears, 15-1, plus 258 point differential, dominant across the board. They're the number 1 seed here. And we're not going to mince words, they are absolutely carrying this matchup. Their C-score of over 52 more than quintuples that of the New York Giants, who are just clearing 10. That does give us a total, though, of 62.323. The New York Giants are going to have to wait till next year. They lose this game to the Bears 21-0. The Bears pitch another shutout on their way to Super Bowl XX, which they won handily over the New England Patriots, establishing themselves as the best team in the entire Super Bowl era by C-score. We're now in the second half of the countdown, and we're going to be getting a little case of deja vu. At number 9, we had Steelers-Colts from 1975. At number 5, we have Steelers-Colts from 1976. This time the Colts had the better record. The AFC East champions finished 11-3 to the Steelers' 10-4 record as AFC Central champions. That gave the Colts the 2 seed and the Steelers the 3 seed, meaning this game would be played in Baltimore. However, Pittsburgh ended the season on a roll, and that continued here. They beat the Colts 40-14. Pittsburgh, however, becomes the first team in this list to fail to make the Super Bowl, losing to the Raiders the following week and being unable to finish up their three-peat. For our number 4 entry, we're ready to visit the Colts once again. However, this is after they've moved to Indianapolis. We head over to the 2004 AFC Divisional matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots. The Colts were AFC Central champions at 12-4, but got the 3 seed and had to play and win in the first round. The Patriots, on the other hand, as defending Super Bowl champions, finished 14-2, emphatically winning a tough NFC East. They were the number 2 seed and will host this game. Indianapolis has an excellent C-score for being only second best in this matchup at almost 28, but the Patriots are pushing 37. That gives us a total of 64.718. The Colts led the NFL in scoring in 2004, but that was not apparent in this game. the Patriots defense put out a historic performance, winning this game 20-3. They then went on to another Super Bowl, winning it over the Philadelphia Eagles and cementing their dynasty. We're going to make one last stop in the era of no playoff seeding for our number 3 entry. This is the 1973 NFC. This matchup is between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. The Cowboys were winners of the East, going 10-4 and finishing second in the league in scoring. They finished second to this LA Rams team, who went 12-2 and won the NFC West with a point differential that cleared 200 points. Yet for the Rams, this being an odd-numbered year, they're being forced onto the road despite being 2 games better in the standings than Dallas. They're both great teams though. This is the only matchup in this list where both teams clear 30 points in C-score, giving us a total of 65.029. Playing on the road in the playoffs did not suit the Rams teams of this era. They went into Dallas and lost 27-16. However, for Dallas, they then crashed out in the NFC title game against the Vikings. Coming in at the second spot is one of the more underrated rivalries of the 1990s. This is 1996. We're heading to the NFC for this matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. The 49ers were actually a wildcard team in '96, losing out the division to the second-year Carolina Panthers, despite an excellent 12-4 record, a plus 141 point differential, and top 5 finishes in both scoring and points allowed. The Green Bay Packers were simply dominant, going 13-3, outscoring their opponents by 246 points and leading the league in scoring and points allowed. They were the NFC Central champion and the NFC's number 1 seed. San Francisco has a perfectly fine C-score of around 20.5, but the Packers are at 45.5, with this total coming in at 65.909. And rest assured, this was a good 49er team, but the Packers still put the boots to them, beating them 35-14 in a game that wasn't even really that close. Green Bay went on to win Super Bowl 31 and placed themselves in the pantheon of historically great NFL teams. Unless the 2024 divisional round eventually has something to say about it, our number 1 entry is actually going to serve as the most recent on this list, and it's only from 2007. This is the AFC's divisional round matchup between the New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars were runners-up in the AFC South, but went on the road to win in the wildcard round. This after an 11-5 season and a plus 107 point differential. But let's not bury the lead. The team here is the 2007 New England Patriots. They won the NFC East and got the number 1 seed with their ho-hum 16-0 regular season. Their C-score is almost 50, while the Jaguars come in at just over 16, giving us a total of 66.222. The Patriots certainly peaked earlier in the season in 2007, and they didn't have an easy time of it with Jacksonville, winning the game 31-20. They did advance to Super Bowl 42, where they famously lost to the Giants and lost their shot at immortality. Looking at the top 10 as a whole, there's even less separation from top to bottom than the wildcard matchups had at fewer than 6.5 points. The only jump of more than 1 point in C-score came right at the midpoint between numbers 6 and 5. The Cowboys, Packers, Patriots, and Steelers got onto the list twice. Of course, both of the Steelers matchups were with the Colts, who led the way with 3 appearances, tying with the Rams. Speaking of the Steelers-Colts matchup, the one that was won by Pittsburgh in Baltimore was the only game won by the road team. The NFC and the AFC tied with 4 matchups apiece, with the NFL, a predecessor to the NFC, grabbing 2 of their own. So technically, the NFC wins this one. 6 of these winners went on to win the Super Bowl. 2 of them lost the very next week, and the other 2, the 1969 Vikings and the 2007 Patriots, made it to the Super Bowl, where they proceeded to fall on their faces. Hey look, you're still here. Super awesome of you, I thank you for it. Make sure to like and share this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ding that bell to be notified about all our future releases. Let me know what you think about all of this. Were you expecting the Jacksonville Jaguars to top this list, even if they were dragged there by the only 16-0 regular season team in NFL history? Were there any other surprises? Was there another matchup you thought would make the list? Do you think it was unfair not to include the 1968 Chiefs-Raiders game? Share your thoughts on these topics or anything else you may have on your mind right down there in the comments section below. Thank you so much for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.